Hi, everyone. I'm Leslie Mizrak with Mizrak Coaching, and today you're joining me for the Lucky 7 series for management and HR. We're talking about Ted Lasso, 7 management tips straight from the show Ted Lasso. But first, I've got to let you know, it's a little bit of a spoiler alert. I'm going to talk about some scenes from the particular show. If you don't know much about the show, it's an Apple TV show with Jason Sudeikis called Ted Lasso. The show follows the adventures of a small-time college football coach from Kansas, hired to coach professional soccer in the UK, despite having zero experience coaching. I really love this quote. He says, "Taking on a challenge is a lot like riding a horse, isn't it? If you're comfortable while doing it, you're probably doing it wrong." Well, it's kind of like managing or leading others. It's hard if you're super comfortable doing it. Lucky for you, most of us aren't quite that comfortable, and it takes a little bit of work. When we talk about the show Ted Lasso, it starts off with believe. We must believe to achieve. Ted's credibility and coaching methods were subject to immediate and harsh ongoing judgment, bolstered by unfavorable name calling from both the British public as well as his team. It's virtually impossible for us to achieve our desires if we don't believe we're either capable or deserving of achieving them. Ted Lasso teaches us that we must believe to achieve. Believe in who you are, believe in what you're doing, and believe in the impact that you have. Self-doubt can be crippling, especially when the odds seem stacked against us, like they did with Ted Lasso. Really good HBR article, Harvard Business Review article. It says, channel an alter ego. View yourself through the lens of another. Tune out uninformed feedback. And then reframe that self-talk. Self-talk is tough. Whether we realize it or not, when we're giving ourselves self-talk, we're doing self-talk all the time. It's mostly unconscious, quite often very negative, and it gets us or keeps us stuck kind of in this doubt, this loop of self-doubt. When we can identify these internal voices, intentionally replace them with a more positive, productive narrative, can really help us out of this paralysis and move towards action. So tip number 1, biscuits with the boss every single morning is all about relationship building. Ted knows the importance of building relationships across the whole team, up, down, and sideways. He's curious about people. He's intentional about remembering their names, their birthdays. He's relentless about instituting an informal biscuits with the boss every morning meeting with his reluctant boss, Rebecca, and gets to know her as a person, not just as a boss. Getting to know people on a personal level builds trust, which is foundational for creating a high-performing team up, down, and across. Tip number 2, don't take it all so personally. As you can imagine, Ted's credibility and coaching methods were subject to immediate and ongoing judgment, ridicule, etc. Lasso shows us how to stay grounded in who we are and our leadership philosophies despite overwhelming scrutiny. A Forbes article says, stop worrying about what other people think. Know your worth. Stop jumping to conclusions. Keep your calendar full, keep busy. And then don't climb down a rabbit hole. Take the high road. Another article said, put yourself in timeout. Kelly Ripa, a TV personality, got blindsided at work when her co-anchor abruptly left the show. She said she took a week off to clear her head. While she was largely criticized for it, it really allowed her to come back strong with a different perspective and address the situation at hand. Number 2 here says, ask yourself what the situation really means to you. Does that annoying coworker really mean to you? Or the promotion that's just been given to someone else, what does that really mean? Or the bad review you just received? Evaluate what it means to you and if you should put so much mental and emotional energy into it. If it's not going to matter next year, why take it so personally? And it's great to have business partners or colleagues who you can trust and trust you back. So as Brene Brown puts it, your square squad. So building off that, stop worrying about what other people think, seek feedback from the people that really matter, those you trust that are going to be real with you and give you good information, good, bad, and ugly. They're going to come to you from a place of caring. Tip number 3, the boss doesn't always have to solve all the problems. Encourage your team to solve their own problems, which then creates buy-in and empowerment, and you want an empowered team. So why is group empowerment important? Well, job satisfaction, employee retention, loyalty, words we talk about all the time these days, increased performance, increased accountability, greater confidence, problem solving. Shall I go on? How might you empower your team at work? Support the team's empowerment yourself. Get clear on vision and roles. Encourage open and honest feedback, all directions. Institute an open door policy and mean it. Motivate self-improvement. Forgive their mistakes because everybody makes them. Help them grow through them. And then show appreciation for their contribution. Tip number 4, it's great for team members' ideas to be heard and executed. Give credit where credit is due. Credit your team members for crediting one another. Avoid the temptation to blame when something goes south. Remember, giving credit where credit is due is so important and doesn't make you look less as a manager or leader. It actually makes you look stronger. Tip number 5, sometimes a team needs some new energy, some fresh blood, so hire the best. Look for diversity of talent or skills. Look for optimism like Danny Rojas. So maybe even think about hiring from an outside sector. And when you do that, think about adaptability. What are the transferable skills or power skills that they have? What are the transferable task skills they have? Look into a larger talent pool when you hire outside a sector. And this demonstrates flexibility and diversity. Look for that from people you're hiring as well. Tip number 6, I love this one. Soccer or football is a team sport. No one is bigger than the team. If you can't do things our way, you're not going to get time here, and we don't care who you are. Coaching a team of high performers will likely mean managing large egos and resolving personality conflicts. Lasso tirelessly communicates his message that the team comes first, no matter your talent or your superstar status. This is probably why they call the head coach more the manager in English football. So get curious. Don't be judgmental. During dart games, Ted Lasso uses this quote, "Be curious, not judgmental," to explain why curiosity is more effective than closed-minded judgment and hubris. Ask questions, listen for answers, and how that answer is given. Curiosity comes from a power of being able to ask questions and truly empathize with what someone is dealing with. This is a Jake and Sudeikis quote from Brene Brown's podcast, Unlocking Us. So my question for you before we wrap for today is, as a leader, how will you get curious? What can you do to get curious? Ted knows the importance of building relationships across the team. He's curious about people. He's intentional about remembering those names and birthdays, and he's relentless about biscuits with the boss. Getting to know people on a personal level builds trust, which is foundational for creating a high-performing team, up, down, and across. So leadership is not a quick fix approach. Strong teams learn and win together. Everyone is worthy of your attention. And it is great to have business partners that you can trust and trust you back, because relationships really do matter. So again, I'm Leslie Miserak with Miserak Coaching. We've got upcoming events. Speaking of Brene Brown, we've got Dare to Lead. We've got a Management Essentials 1-day program, and we have the Empowerful Manager, an 8-month cohort program. So be sure to check us out at miserakcoaching.com. I appreciate your time today and look forward to hearing from you if you have any questions. Once again, thank you so much.